Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful show for you today. We have great guests. I want to introduce Drew Glassford. He's the executive director, and he's joined by Russ Pollock, and he's the president of the foundation, and you're all from Turning Point Autism Foundation. Correct. Now, we hear a lot about autism in the news, and I want to know a little bit about your foundation to start with. Who wants to answer that?
Sure, I'll take it.
Go for it, Drew.
Turning Point Autism Foundation is a private nonprofit that was founded by the Wolf family in Naperville to really address the foundational needs of children that are impacted by autism as they need the structure and supports as children, and then as we transition them to adults to really create what we call a competent and meaningful adulthood. And so Turning Point is really all about what does it mean to have a competent, meaningful adulthood, and how do we get these kids there?
Right, because I think we rarely think, gee, we see them as children, but we rarely think about them as adults. And so that you're playing a pivotal role. Mm-hmm. Russ, tell me how you got involved. You're president of the foundation.
Sure, I've been with the foundation for 4 years. I have a son who's impacted with autism, and I got reunited with the Wolf family through a fundraiser or something, and we kind of had similar vision as to what we wanted for our child. We also recognized that there was a gap in what was, I guess, available to us, what kind of services were available to our children, all with geared towards this baseline of competent and meaningful adulthood. What's going to happen when our kids turn 22 and there's no more school?
Right.
So we've been working as an organization, and I got to say, the organization is fantastic. The people, the staff, our director, everybody is so dedicated, so passionate, and that's really what makes us different, in my opinion, versus other startup foundations. Okay, and that we've got a great core, we have a great opportunity, and we keep focusing in on this vision of competent and meaningful adulthood, and our decisions and everything are being driven towards that. And for me, as a parent, when you first get that diagnosis, you're like, you go through a number of emotions, but then you get to the point where you're like, what's life going to be like? What happens who's going to take care of my child when it's no longer there, when I'm no longer here? So it's that type of thought process you go through, and Turning Point addresses it beautifully. I mean, it's an organization that I think is going to put together it's going to challenge the status quo on educational services, vocational training, opportunities for our kids, providing access to social and fitness and rec and all these things to create a holistic approach for our children to succeed in life. It's different, it's expensive, it's it's a lot of things that go into it, but it's really truly an organization in my mind that is going to set the standard nationally, if not internationally, here in Naperville.
Awesome. Now, Drew, tell me, where are you as a foundation now?
We've opened our school.
Okay.
We're very proud to announce that we opened up our day school on January 18th.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much. And that day school really provides those foundational elements we talk about in areas of communication, social skills, life skills, and behavior regulation. From there, we're going to move to our vocational program on our main campus. And in our vocational program, we've partnered with some Fortune 500 companies to kind of bring a private solution and a private program development to create meaningful jobs and meaningful sense of purpose and contribution. We use the word community a lot. I'm really happy that you do too in describing who you are, because we really feel that communities is such an important part of this, of really giving these kids access to a meaningful life and to feeling productive and engaged in their community. Because a lot of times, because of the challenges that they have, they don't really feel engaged, and a lot of the families don't feel engaged. So community is a huge part of it. So as we move forward and our programs evolve, we're really all about community integration, lifestyle integration, and living as independently as possible and as happy as possible. And so the vocational program is the next piece in creating that meaningful life as these kids move into transition. So this fall we're going to open up our Vocational Development Center at our main campus. We're also going to open up our after-school recreation and social programs to provide those other key components of a meaningful life too. And beyond that, as Russ mentioned, we're going to open up our residential facility probably in about a year and a half. I can't tell you the number of calls I get from parents that say, what am I going to do with my child when I die? Where can they be that's going to be safe and secure, and yet have them be as independent as possible? So that's another element we know is key to our programming and that we're going to address.
What is the age range? I mean, some of the things I hear you talking about, vocation, getting a job, and that seems to be that you're aimed towards when they're out of school.
Well-
Russ mentioned. Is that, or is the school now, can my 2-year-old go to
No,
that?
that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. You know, it's hard to address all the needs because
Yes.
the needs are so diverse.
Right, and they change with age.
Exactly. And so we really chose, there's really some great early childhood programs. There's some great younger children, younger ages, first, second,
Sure.
third grade programs. But we've really focused on the point of transition when life skills really become important and where vocational prep becomes important. So our belief is from 9 to 14, which our program starts at age 9, there's really a need for, again, those foundational communication and behavior supports that will then create access to the transition program that we're developing for ages 15 to 22. So initially 9 to 14 as the core foundation of the education program, and then 15 to 22 for the transition program to adulthood that includes a heavy emphasis on vocational development, further life skills refining, and then social skills too, so that they can engage in the community. So that's kind of the two-tiered approach that we've used with our program. From 22 and above, that's really where we're going to look at residential and independence on residential, and it's probably going to be a 5 to 7 year program, we're thinking. Of course, it's so dependent on the individual.
Right.
We don't want to say one size fits all, but that's really what we've taken on, because I think the school districts and a lot of the private facilities have taken on and done a really good job on that early childhood side up to where the social pressures and the independent life and transitional issues develop. So that's really what we've focused on as our specialty.
Could you give me an idea of how many, is it 1 out of how many children are affected by autism?
It's 1 in 110 is the
100
common number today. Yeah.
So that's a very startling statistic, and that one child in that 110 is going to grow up, and
Yes.
that's
Right.
where
Yes.
that you all are helping to transition that larger group into
Absolutely.
the workforce, which
Right.
I think something as a society we have to think about now that we diagnose it so well.
It's a tsunami coming, you know, and the frequency of diagnosis has increased dramatically over the last 20 years.
Right.
So you think about these kids are all starting to age out. So it's after age 22, the system drops them.
Right.
So now it becomes, you know, we're looking to pick up that piece of it, and again, competent, meaningful adulthood. Is it a job? Is it social? Is it taking care of yourself? To be part of a community is critical. It's all those things that we're looking at, and really, in our opinion, it starts at age 9. You know, so we're going to challenge educational models. We're going to challenge whatever model is out there today. We're going to challenge that status quo, and really get back to reshaping the way that these services are provided to our kids, all with the intent of, you know.
I think that's an
growth.
important component of the challenge part, because one advantage we have is we have a very entrepreneurial board of directors, and we're bringing a very private approach, a very innovative approach to a field that's been very institutional based. And we feel with this new approach we can really raise the bar, challenge, and grow our children for a meaningful future.
And the things that we're doing right now are being so well received by the corporate community, by the autism professionals from coast to coast. We have been engaged from from California to New York, of people looking to us to really set the standard. So we have great leadership in all these different areas of developing the programs, and again, getting to the point where they are state of the art, cutting edge stuff.
Well, all with the goal of getting some happy, functional adults out there.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you, Liz.
Interesting, fascinating. Good luck to all of you. We're
Thank
going to
you.
be right back with Business Connections. Stay tuned. And congratulations to Turning Point Autism.